I saw you in my dreams, floating in the blue. There's nothing else to do.
Good morning, guys. I am back. I must say I fell into a little bit of a slump for the first few weeks of this year, but I feel like I'm coming out of it now. And honestly, I feel like so many of us can relate to that New Year slump and just like feeling a bit stuck. So today's video is going to be my monthly reset routine for February 2023. I'm going to be splitting this video up into 3 sections. The first one's going to be decluttering, the second one's going to be my January reflection, and then my February intentions and goals, and then the third one's just going to be my usual planning. So planning meals, planning workouts, going through my planner and just blocking out important dates and all of that jazz. So when it comes to decluttering, I like to do that first just to give me a clean slate so I can think clearly. I'm one of those people, I cannot function in a cluttered space. Like, it's just not going to happen. I did actually do a massive declutter during the holidays, so I don't have a lot to declutter. It's mainly just my emails. I need to unsubscribe from more emails. I feel like every time I open up my emails, it's just like a whole crap ton of emails. They're so overwhelming, they build up so quickly, and half of it is just not important. It's really like from brands that I literally created accounts with so that I could order their products. And yeah, like I never open those kind of emails. And then I also just want to organize my emails into folders, mainly the important ones. I actually used to do that last year, but I've completely slipped out of it. Like, there's so many things that I found myself slipping out of, and I really want to try and stick to good habits. Like, I don't want to fall into my old patterns. I used to be the most disorganized person on the planet, I'm telling you now, and it just caused unnecessary stress in my life. And then in terms of my desktop, I don't really need to declutter much because I kind of had to run the software that I use for work, so that's all cleared up. It's just my MacBook. I tend to just download things and leave them in my downloads folder. I don't actually go and separate them into folders when I'm in the zone, and that's when things start to build up for me. So that's another thing that I want to sort out. I'm gonna do that real quick. I don't think it's gonna take me very long because, as I said, I've been pretty on top of decluttering lately for once in my life.
Hit me with a ha-ha, knew that it was over. I just spent 2 whole days not sober, and you just spent 2 whole nights bent over. Couldn't even give me just a little bit of closure. Fuck up on my life now, I can't be no side piece. My brother keep 2 twin Glocks and they side me. Focused on a better life for the ones beside me. He said you was toying with me and was gon' try me. So I got my chips right, finally gon' live life. Falling in love's not for me, it don't hit right. I don't never swallow my pockets, it don't sit right. You don't never be in my life cause you don't fit right. I've been so lost in my head. Well, look at me now, yeah. Well, look at me now, yeah. I've been so lost in my pain. Well, look at me now, yeah. Well, look at me now, yeah. Maybe I don't look right, you savage like Suge Knight. Said that I'm a hoe, but this shit is.
Now that my decluttering is done, I'm going to move on to the next section, which is my January reflection and my February intentions and goals. I literally just went on Pinterest and looked for a few reflection questions. The first one is, what was your favorite memory from the past month? And that was definitely floating on the dam on our floaties on one of our friends' farms. Such chill vibes, and it was so beautiful. The music was good. It's such a good memory. And then the next one is, what was your biggest challenge? And that was definitely getting out of a slump. Like, I was deep in it. I wanted to do so much, but I just could not get myself to do any of it. It was a struggle, but I'm out of it now, thank goodness. Something I need to let go of, that's definitely perfectionism and fear of failure. I think that's the 2 things that really kept me in a rut in the first place, because all of a sudden I was feeling completely overwhelmed with like this fear of failure, and I have no idea where it came from. And then something I'm proud of, definitely sticking to my habits. Despite being in a slump, I set out habits that I really wanted to stick to, and I stuck to them for the majority of the month. Definitely not every day. Actually, looking back, I don't know how I did it considering the way I was feeling. Okay, and then for my goals, I'm just going to stick to 3 goals this month, because I find that if I go over 3 or I just go overboard with goal setting, I just don't accomplish any of it, and then I end up feeling really shitty about myself. So I'm sticking to literally just 3 goals. First goal is that I want to create more, and I also want to try and post once a week on YouTube if possible. I'm saying if possible because I do still work full-time and my job is pretty demanding, and I also finish really late, so it is a bit difficult to fit filming and editing and like planning videos in. But it is something I'm really passionate about, so I do want to make the effort to try and, you know, stick to it and just create as much as I can. And then my second goal is to try out cycle syncing, which is something that's new to me. I actually had never heard of it until, and this might be TMI, I went off the hormonal birth control pill. I'd actually listened to an audiobook by Dr. Jolene Brighton. It's called Beyond the Pill, and that like kind of completely changed my mindset around the pill. Now, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for being on the pill. If you need to be on the pill, and if it works for you, that's great, but I just was not enjoying the way it was making me feel. And listening to that audiobook and having it confirm how I was feeling, I decided to go off of it. One of my main goals for this year was to get my hormones back into balance, and I just want to feel healthy in all aspects of my life. So yeah, anyway, after listening to that audiobook, I started listening to podcasts and watching other YouTube videos, and a lot of the time people would mention this thing called cycle syncing, which is something I never learned about. I had no idea it was a thing. Basically what it is adapting your lifestyle, so like the way you work out, the foods you eat, and syncing it to whatever phase of your cycle you're in. So it's really interesting, and I'm still learning a lot about it, so I don't want to share too much. I've also never tried it, so I don't really know. I think I'm going to start with workouts. I feel like if I go all in, I'm like changing the foods that I eat at different times of the month and changing the workouts I do at other times of the month, I feel like I'll get a bit overwhelmed. And I find with me personally, if I start slow, that's usually when I stick to something. And then my third goal is to get on top of my finances, specifically when it comes to tax, because I am so shit at keeping my slips and tracking my expenses. I have this budget sheet that I bought off of Etsy, and it's amazing, but just getting myself to use it weekly is something I want to get into the habit of, rather than leaving it for the end of the month and then I've just got too much to do. So I feel like if I track my expenses weekly, keep track of my slips and everything, I'm going to feel a lot less stressed when the time comes that I need to pay my tax. So what I've done is I've actually got those little mini plastic sleeve envelope things, the ones that clip closed. I don't actually have mine here right now, but I basically keep one in my car, one in the kitchen, and one in Matt's car, just so that, you know, when you get in the car you don't just like chuck the slip wherever and then it gets lost. I just put it in those sleeves now, so that's like one thing that I've started doing. Alrighty, and now for my February intention. My intention for this month is to ditch the scarcity mindset and adopt an abundance mindset in place of that, especially when it comes to money and like feeling like there's never enough, and also just focusing on what I don't have rather than what I do have. I think it's really important to practice gratitude. Just notice that when you look around you and you actually realize what you are grateful for, it instantly raises your vibe. And then also just looking at my budget as a way to be mindful about what I'm spending and, you know, like my general spending habits, rather than looking at my budget as a way to limit or restrict what I spend my money on and how much money I'm spending, because obviously that's more a negative mindset towards budgeting, like, you know, aligning my spending with what I want out of life. So looking at my budget as something that allows me to do things and allows me to get things, rather than something that restricts me. So yeah, basically just flipping the narrative from scarcity to abundance. Now into the last section of this vlog, which is the planning section. So basically what I want to do for today's planning, not going overboard. I'm really trying to take more of a gentle approach to this year and not like go overboard with everything, but staying consistent. I want to fill out my planners. I got this little planner from Bella, and honestly as soon as I saw it I was like, oh, I need to get this planner. So it's the 2023 planner. It is So pretty. It was only available on pre-order. I have no idea if she still has any. It's got an overview of the year, birthdays, another overview of the year. I love that there's like multiple views, and then for each month it's got like a little mood board section, goals. We are now in February. Super cute. I think I'm just gonna fill out all of these, my goals, and then I just want to pop important dates in and add like my meetings and birthdays. And then finally I'm gonna do my budget sheet. I still have a lot of catching up to do, so I'm actually gonna need to dedicate like an evening this week to just finish off tracking all of my expenses. I think I'm 3 months behind because I actually just fell right off of doing that, which I'm a bit pissed off with myself for, because I was doing really well up until like September, and then I just dropped right off of it. So I'm definitely not going to update the spreadsheet now because I am going to need a whole evening to do that. I'm literally just going to go over it and look at exactly where I ended and like just go over my 22/7 and make sure everything is categorized, because that always makes everything so much easier. With 22/7 you can literally just select a certain amount of time and export an Excel sheet of all of your transactions. That makes it really easy when you want to like copy it over into your expenses tracker or your budget sheet or whatever it is. I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to schedule in an evening this week to actually just catch up and get everything up to date, because I have to pay tax at the end of this month, at the end of Feb. Anyway, so yeah, that is my planning section. That's what I'm going to be doing now for the next hour most probably.
Your freedom is one thing, but to be is something else. I think it's kind of funny, the people who die to kill for the sun only shining over a mansion on the hill. VVS don't shine like a sunset, stocks don't fall like the snow, private jets don't fly like a shooting star.
Right, and then another little thing that I really want to start doing, and something that I actually haven't ever done before, is doing a food inventory. So like just looking at what food we do have like in our fridge, in our freezer, in the pantry, just to simplify our grocery shopping and to make sure that we don't buy things that we don't really need. So yeah, I'm gonna do that quickly, and then what I'm gonna do is like just plan meals around the food that we already have, and then add that to my Notion meal planner. I am gonna be doing a Notion tour at some stage, so I'm not gonna go too in depth with Notion, but yeah, it is coming.
On the hill, calling at your will, looking at your bill, any last regret? Say you're the best at making money, and money rules.
Okay, on to creating a habit tracker. So I actually have a habit tracker in my Notion, and it's amazing. I can take it off on my phone. I've got it right here. I've got like all of the days for January, so it just makes it really easy to be able to tick off your habits wherever you are. And then another thing that I love about it is that you can actually close the rings. So once you tick off all of your habits, it closes the ring, and I find that so satisfying. So I've been using it daily all of January. I set up my Notion in December, and as I said, I am going to be creating like a little Notion tour video at some stage. A lot of the pages aren't finished yet. I'm still working on them. The only thing is it doesn't really give like an overview of the month, which I also kind of want to be able to see, you know, more of like a visual representation of the whole month, just so that I can see which habits I need to prioritize. For example, I might be hitting every single day of flossing. I might be taking that off every day, but then my water, drinking enough water habit might be completely empty. So then I know by looking at the month as a whole, I can then see which habits I really need to prioritize for the next month. So in that case, it would be drinking more water. Okay, I can see that whole habit is empty for the month, so I really need to prioritize that, because the others seem to be coming to me easily. It's pointless if you're just focusing on the habits that you find easy and you're neglecting the ones that you find difficult to tick off every day. So I find that having that visual of the whole month is going to be really helpful, and also the fact that it's on paper. I I still really love taking things off on paper, so that's why I'm choosing to do it on paper rather than a spreadsheet, which I could also do, and that's how I was tracking my habits towards the end of last year, and it just was not working for me. So I feel like a mix of digital and on paper is great. Spreadsheet for me, I was on a fan, but I love Notion, specifically because you can close the rings. Like, that is the coolest part for me. So yeah, I'm going to create a habit tracker quickly, but I thought I'd just run you through the habits that I have decided to stick to. I actually created these for January, but to be honest, I don't really want to add any more onto them. I'm pretty happy with the habits that I want to stick to at the moment. I feel like they're all working, they all make me feel good and just really productive and motivated. So as I said before, I'm going for the gentle approach this year, not overloading myself and overwhelming myself with too much. Yeah, the habits that I've decided to stick to last month and now this month too, it might change next month, I have no idea. Yeah, this is what I'm just sticking to now. Workout every day except Thursdays and Sundays. Those 2 days are my rest days. And then I want to journal every morning or every evening, bonus if I journal twice a day. Then the next one is drinking 2 liters of water. I want to meditate every day, which I actually really stuck to this month. I remember last year I was really struggling with getting into meditation, but now that I've really committed to it, I love it. I just feel like my mind has been cleared. I feel less anxious. I feel like I can breathe. I don't feel like I have this heavy weight on my chest. It's honestly been doing wonders. I wish I had stuck to it sooner, but that is one thing that I've really been sticking to for the past few weeks, and I'm really proud of myself for that. Okay, on to the rest of the habits. I want to take my vitamins every day. As I mentioned, I quit the pill, so I'm now taking a hormone balancing supplement from Kiko Vitals. Or is it Kiko? I hate not pronouncing things right, especially brand names, because I really don't want to offend anyone. I'll pop a picture up on the screen of the hormone balancing supplement I'm using. They are also South African, so local, which is amazing. And then I want to spend time outside. Then yoga. One of my biggest goals for this year was to really recommit to my yoga practice. If you go check out my Instagram, you'll see I was deep into yoga about 2 years ago, and then I kind of neglected my practice, and it's sad because half of that stuff that I used to be able to do, I can't do it anymore. Like, I've lost my flexibility, I've lost my strength, and it's really sad that I neglected it because I was so dedicated to my yoga practice. It just made me feel amazing. It made my body feel amazing, like my mind. It was just good for me all around. But when I moved here, obviously moving is always a big life change, and then I started focusing on like weights with mats. I kind of neglected the whole yoga practice. So one of my goals this year is to really prioritize it because I miss it. It was one of the best things in my life at one stage. Alright, next habit. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 habits in total. The second last one is eating nourishing meals every day. So I said nourishing because I don't want to say like healthy or unhealthy. I don't want to be restrictive in any way. I really just want to nourish my body this year and just get it to its optimum health. And then the last one is floss, and then obviously oral care. I've been flossing every single day. The more you floss, the less you have to visit the dentist, you know. Don't forget to floss. So I remember when I was a kid, I literally wanted to hide under the table every single time we went to the dentist. It was awful. They still terrify me. I hate the dentist, so if I can avoid going to the dentist by flossing every single day, I'll do it. So yeah, those are all of my habits for the month and the habits that I stuck to last month. Honestly, cannot recommend it enough. If you feel like you are in a bit of a slump, one of the best things is creating a routine for yourself and developing good, healthy habits that really resonate with you and that make you feel good. There's no point in trying to develop habits that honestly make you feel like shit, because you are not going to stick to them long term. Anyway, I'm going to now get into creating my little paper habit tracker. easy to just keep on my desk and track every single day. So there's the days and there's the habits, the exact same habits as my Notion tracker. But yeah, then at the end of the day I can just color in the blocks, and then at the end of the month I can do like a little reflection of which ones I stuck to and which ones I didn't stick to and which ones I need to prioritize for the next month. I feel like this was a really productive little day. I love planning. As I mentioned before, I was the most disorganized person, hated planning, it overwhelmed me, it terrified me, but actually committing to planning every single month has been the best thing ever, because I just feel so much more in control and my mind doesn't feel so busy and like overwhelmed. So yeah, that's pretty much my planning for February 2023. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye guys.